Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me. And for those of you who've been patiently waiting on the YouTube live stream, thank you for your patience. Every once in a while, there are technical issues, little gremlins that get in the way and obstruct the progress on this show. I was going to bring in David Nelson for you to preview a fundraiser that we are doing tonight for him and his girlfriend, Nicole Anderson. Some of you may have watched, you should have watched Tucker Carlson on Fox News last night. He interviewed this couple who I consider heroes and who, of course, Tucker praised as brave, that they are. They are the hashtag Contra Costa couple that had enough of the BLM propaganda in their town of Martinez, California, in Contra Costa County. On July 4th, they painted it over, and now they are being charged with a hate crime. A hate crime for painting over a mural that celebrates, promotes, and enables a domestic terrorist organization that has wrought so much havoc, violence, and yes, hatred across the country. An organization, Black Lives Matter, that is nothing less than a domestic terrorist organization that foments hatred of white people, hatred of America, and especially hatred of and incitement of violence against law enforcement. These are the promoters of assassinations of cops, harassment and doxing of law enforcement officers, peace officers at every level of government. Of course, they are the flip side of a coin that also includes Antifa and the abolish ICE barbarians, animals, anarchists. And so rather than being charged with a hate crime, this couple should be celebrated. They should be invited to the White House. Do you all agree with me? Anyway, I wanted to see if I could share a screen with you. It's a little excerpt of the interview that David Nelson and his girlfriend, Nicole Anderson, did with Tucker last night. And I think that this will help explain to you why I jumped at the chance to be involved in the fundraiser for their legal defense, which is happening tonight on Facebook. I'll give you more information about that. But first, let's listen to this little snippet, watch this little snippet of Nicole, David, and Tucker.
Yeah, man, I hope someone defends you. Conservatives have spent billions of dollars on these nonprofits in D.C. They vote for the Republican politicians. I hope one of those people, many of them, spring to your aid because this is an outrage. You're very brave. Thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you very much, Tucker. My pleasure.
David, Nicole.
Okay. And the reason I wanted to share that with you.
Do an allowance of $4,000 a month. Is that your mom? He said. And then he said, what size are your boobs? Weirdly enough, one of my most requested videos is.
Okay. So the reason I wanted to share that with you is because Tucker specifically called out Con Inc., right? He said, I hope there are some of these organizations that have many, many millions of dollars in their budgets that step up to the plate and help ordinary citizens like yourselves who are standing up for America. Well, time's a ticking, right? And there's been plenty of time for any one of these organizations to step up to the plate and open up a crowdfund page for these patriotic Americans who are standing up to the mob. And nobody else did it. But there is somebody else outside of the Con Inc. sphere who stood up. And I'm going to put the address of a couple of accounts that are important for you to follow. And of course, the first one is David Nelson's Twitter account. You can follow him at Nelson David NMTZ. The organizer of tonight's fundraiser, which is going to start at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, is a young man named Joseph, and he runs an account at Protect Amer, which stands for Protect Americans, PROTECTAMER. And you can find his Facebook page at Protect Americans. So we're doing this fundraiser. I'm going to join them. David will be on the show, as well as Joseph, who is hosting it. And you can support hashtag Contra Costa Couple. That's the hashtag that's been used to describe them on Fundly at Costa Contra Couple Legal Defense Fund. I'm going to keep that up there so you can copy that and you can find it. Let me see if I can bring it up for you as well. Fundly, of course, is also hosting the separate crowdfund campaign that I kicked off about 2 weeks ago for Stephen Baca. I have more to say about that as well. So grateful for everybody who's contributed. And these are truly grassroots campaigns. I've asked a lot of big names for help, blue check marks, people who supposedly stand up for 2A, self-defense, defending our monuments, defending America. And not a lot of people have answered the call from the ranks of so-called conservative celebrities. However, at least almost 800 people have stood up for Stephen Baca, and I'm hoping that as many will come to the aid of Nicole Anderson and David Nelson as they face bogus hate crimes charges for erasing the memorial to a domestic terrorist organization. Let's see if I can find it this way. And as you know, if you've been paying attention, and as you need to be able to share with others, there's something in common between these two crowdfund campaigns. For Stephen Baca, the armed citizen who was beaten by a crazed mob in Albuquerque, New Mexico, June 15th in the afternoon, as agitators were tearing down the statue of a Spanish colonizer there, forced to defend himself with his weapon, shot several times and hit one of the thugs, several of whom had assaulted him with things like a longboard, other unidentified objects, video showing at least one person who may have had some sort of knife or switchblade. The story is not over yet in that case. There's a hearing on August 12th, as some of you saw in my latest column, which you can find at uns.com and about 150 other media outlets. I was able to meet Stephen Baca in person, and just as he presented himself on my YouTube Malkin Live interview with him last week, sweet, soft-spoken guy, super calm, ordinary citizen, not by any means somebody who would describe himself as a quote-unquote activist or somebody who is ensconced in politics. And that's very similar to David Nelson and Nicole Anderson as well. These are not professionals like the counterparts on the left who spend their whole day immersed in partisan politics, obstructionism, and the kind of just marinated political lives. That's not how most people are. And that's certainly not how Stephen Baca was or David Nelson. And as I mentioned to the people in the YouTube chat, we were having a couple of technical issues. David is not online, doesn't even use a computer, had an iPad that he was using to try and get video going. And we'll try and iron that out, obviously, for the fundraiser tonight, which will be live streamed. Like I said, I will be joining David and Joseph at Protect Americans, who's hosting the live stream. I'll share all of those links. If you're not doing anything tonight, it would be a really cool Friday night activity to spend with us and hang out. I'll be doing a Newsmax hit with Greg Kelly around 7 o'clock. So I'll join on the live stream at around 6:30 Eastern, and then hop off to do the Greg Kelly segment, which of course we'll be talking about this case and others, especially with the proliferation, or should I say the metastasis, of these Black Lives Matter murals all across the country on streets in every city dominated by these social justice warriors. And let me see if I can share this. I'm going to see if I can share the Fundly page. Okay. I am my own producer in these matters, so bear with me. I appreciate your patience. Here we go. All right, see if you can see that. Support the Contra Costa couple. The hashtag's a little bit off there, but many of you saw the scene with them. They were being videotaped. And the funds will all be used to cover legal expenses and to help mitigate against potential loss of income due to job loss and damaged reputation. Funds may be used to help relocate the couple and pay for security as well. We've seen so many ordinary citizens standing up and becoming incredibly overwhelmed by the onslaught, the cancel culture, the mob mentality that you're besieged with for going against these false narratives and lies and for pushing back. And there's not enough people in Con Inc. and in the cable TV news world who will speak up and praise these ordinary citizens doing what all the politicians and pundits peacock about. Oh, we need to defend our country. We need to stand for law and order. And so few of them actually will do it, will walk the walk. Those of you who have now become regular viewers of hashtag Malkin Live have seen that I've done everything possible to support so many of the ordinary heroes, ordinary citizens across the country who are doing this. And I've done it myself with a little Defend Our Monuments rally that I had. And I know that it is not a small undertaking. It takes a certain amount of courage and conviction, the conviction of your principles to get up off your backside, get up off the keyboard, right? Easiest thing in the world to be a keyboard warrior and organize. Because let's face it, first of all, you know, there's the risk that no one will show up, right? That you'll be the only one out there. But who cares if you're the only one? All of you saw the brave and beautiful and brilliant Savannah Hernandez, one gal with one friend, with one camera and one sign. Police Lives Matter on one side, honor David Dorn, the retired St. Louis captain who was slaughtered and murdered very early on in this whole George Floyd instigated nightmare. One gal, unwilling to bend her knee, unwilling to be shoved and pushed aside. And as I said in my interview with her, you know, this is reclaiming our streets. Whose streets? Whose streets, right? The mob always howls at these riots. Whose streets? Our streets. No, our streets. Our streets. And that's what the Contra Costa couple, David Nelson and Nicole Anderson, were doing. They were reclaiming their streets. I said that there was this metastasis now of these Black Lives Matter murals. And of course, almost every last one of them have been supported by city and state officials. You saw, let me see if I can pull up this picture, these scenes of Bill de Blasio, right? Cue this up. Not a lot of social distancing going on here, of course. Check this out. Six feet apart? Nope. Nope. Don't see it. Nope. My kid can't go to summer camp in person. This is allowed. Okay, where's that fool? Let's see him. So that's allowed. And the more these murals crop up, the more we're going to see cases like David Nelson's and Nicole Anderson's, where those who dissent from SJW, BLM, Antifa orthodoxy will be the ones who are persecuted and prosecuted. It is no coincidence that the DA in Contra Costa County is a Soros-subsidized operative. A Black woman named Diane Becton, who received $50,000 from a Soros-funded PAC, the same kind of PACs that have been sprouting up across the country over the last 5 to 7 years, electing these subverters and saboteurs of our criminal justice system. It is not a coincidence that a Soros-funded district attorney is also the one going after Stephen Baca in Albuquerque, New Mexico, a man named Raul Torres, who received more than $100,000 from a Soros-funded PAC, Soros being the only donor to these PACs that have anodyne names, mystery names like the New Mexico Peace and Justice Committee. Things like this. Same thing in California as well. And there's a number of those Soros-funded DAs that are now wreaking havoc across the Golden State. Chesa Boudin, of course, the spawn of 2 domestic terrorists who, while they were jailed, had their son grow up with Bill Ayers and Bernadine Dorn. So literally a red diaper baby. The left has played a long game. They have planted these seeds, and now they are bearing very rotten and toxic fruit. So what are we to do about it? Like I said, Tucker Carlson last night did a fantastic job of calling out Con Inc. And we see the exposure of the fecklessness and the ineffectual impact that so many of those organizations have had when it comes to defending ordinary citizens. I've talked about this with regard to free speech issues. I've talked about this with regard to the deplatforming that has been taking place since day one of the Trump administration. Where are they? Where are they? And so it's up to those of us who have also been marginalized, those of us who have also been targets of cancel culture. Hello, you all saw my diatribe about that earlier this week. I'm not going to shut up about it, because when they try to shut people like me up, they are also trying to stifle our ability to help ordinary people to organize on a grassroots level. Because many of these Con Inc. establishment organizations have grown fat and happy in the DC swamp. And the dirty little secret is they don't give a damn about ordinary patriots. In fact, many of them share the same contempt for people across the heartland as the radical libertarians do, as the social justice warriors do, as Hollywood does, and as big tech and Silicon Valley do. That is why they are so desperately trying to squelch and to stunt this grassroots movement. So many of us who actually believe in America first. America first means taking care of our families first. It means standing up for our neighborhoods, our towns, our monuments, our heritage, our streets, literally our streets, and each other. That's why I am spending my night tonight with Protect Americans on Facebook. And you can find all that through Fundly. And I want to make sure that you follow David Nelson David NMTZ, and Protect Americans at Protect Amer. Make sure you're following me, not just on Twitter, but also on Telegram. That is my preferred alternate social media platform. I am also on Parler. I know it's very popular with a lot of the conservative celebrities, but I prefer Telegram, the interface, and I just find it a really good way to communicate with our people, America First people. I said that I was going to answer questions as well. Free for All Friday, Open Line Friday, and I've gotten some great suggestions on future guests for future programs in the next couple of weeks. A lot of people have been squelched and banned lately. As many of you know, I've been highlighting people who've been banned. I've been highlighting people who are under fire for standing up for this country. And I actually have an idea, and I want to get your input on this as well. So I've covered the banned. I would like to challenge the banners, the cancel culture kings, the gatekeepers, to come on my live stream and debate me, and to be held accountable, and to explain if they believe that I have lied or deceived in any way about their behavior and actions, to explain to grassroots conservatives, MAGA types, boomer Republicans, donors, all of y'all, anyone who's followed me for the last 25 plus years, why I'm wrong. And so this is an open challenge to Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk, Dan Crenshaw. I'd be happy to talk to Matt Walsh or Michael Knowles. Come on my show. Open invitation. I'm not a pugilist. I'm not a brawler. It will be a civil conversation and debate. Look at me. Can't be scared of me. Like I'm a little brown woman, right? Right? We'll have a good time. Come on. Hashtag banners. Hashtag gatekeepers. Hashtag conic. If you don't consider yourself conic, if you don't consider yourself America last, if you really truly believe that you are America first, if you really truly believe that you have not been a perpetuator and promoter of cancel culture, come on my show. Come on my show. Answer my questions. I'll answer yours. I'm happy to respond to all of the cowards who wouldn't dare tell me to my face that I'm a racist, that I'm an anti-Semite, that I'm the worst thing that has ever happened to the conservative movement, that I should be ashamed, that I should never show my face, right? Or I love this one, that I'm irrelevant. Here's another one, and it's also a criticism that is leveled viciously against my dissident friends and allies and me, that we're crazy, that we're insane, that we have lost our marbles, that we are not, quote unquote, decent people, that we're garbage human beings. Come on my show, tell me to my face, and try to win an argument and debate over it in front of the world on social media. Oh, and also, one last request. If you all are now such warriors against cancel culture, if you all are now such warriors for America and defending our heritage and defending our monuments and defending other Americans who are willing to put their reputations and lives and careers on the line, please join me in these two important fundraisers that I support: to stand with Stephen Baca and to stand with the Contra Costa couple. You can find both campaigns on Fundly. I'll put the links in. I'll CC all of you. I'll happily do that and see if you would be willing to lend your voices, your platforms, and your own reputations to help fellow Americans who are trying to save our country. I will see the rest of you. Come on, spend Friday night with me on the Facebook page of Protect Americans. Follow them at Protect Amer, and follow David Nelson, the one half of the Contra Costa couple who was on Tucker Carlson last night to talk about their stand painting over the Black Lives Matter mural in Martinez, California. He's at Nelson David NMTZ. See you later. I'll also catch you on Newsmax tonight on the Greg Kelly Show, one of my favorite people on TV and in the media. That'll be at around 7-ish Eastern tonight. Bye.